what's up, everybody? It's your girl, Dr. Rhonda M. Lawson. How's everybody doing tonight? We are back. Yes, and we have made it to another year. It is 2025, y'all, and I don't know about you, but I am truly grateful. I have been praising God. I've done my vision board. I'm doing my Daniel's fast right now. I'm ready to start this year off on the right note, and I hope you are as well. Well, I'm excited. Another reason why I'm excited, I'm always excited when I start the show. But another reason why I'm excited is because we are kicking off the Black History Month Literary Weekend. And starting today, moving all the way to February when we start the program, we are going to be meeting all of the authors as well as the special guests each week starting tonight. So we are going to be talking with two of our featured authors, Stephanie Freeman and Pamela Coleman. But right now, without any further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Stephanie Freeman.
Hey. Good evening. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you. Thank you so much for joining me tonight.
Oh, you're very welcome. Thank you for having me.
Well, I want to also thank you. I know it's like a love fest starting this off, but I also want to thank you for being one of our featured authors for the Black History Month Literary Weekend. This is going to be your first time participating in this program, but I'm going to tell you, you're in for a treat. The authors are amazing. The events are amazing. And I don't know if you've heard, but we've already reached capacity for our first two events.
Wow.
I had to actually add a few more tickets. Yes, I'm excited. So we still have tickets available for the Ivory and Cream Affair. Now, what that one is that's our literary jazz brunch. So we're going to have a live band. We're going to have a celebrity guest host. We're going to have a 3-course meal. We're of course going to meet the authors. And there are also some treats that I have for y'all in store, but I don't want to tell y'all just yet because it's going to be a surprise, and I want y'all to be shocked.
Oh my. Okay.
Yeah, so I'm really excited. This is going to be our biggest year yet, and what we have planned for the brunch is going to be amazing. So what we're doing is, as I mentioned earlier, we're going to meet all of the authors, starting now all the way up to the Black History Month Literary Weekend. We're going to be meeting the authors who are participating, and you're one of our featured authors. So I'm excited to have you. And I'm also excited to learn more about you because you actually write thriller fiction.
Yes, I do.
And, I'm going to tell you, your background looks a little thrillerish.
Well, thank you kindly.
So how did you get into writing thrillers?
Oh gosh. Um, I started. Oh gosh, about maybe I think it was like 2014. I think,
Oh, okay.
and I just I had this story that was laying on my heart. Excuse me. Um, I had a story that was laying on my heart, and I said, you know what, I need to write this because I'm from the Toni Morrison School of Thought. There was
Okay.
an interview that she did years ago, and she said that her characters come up and they introduce themselves to her. And
I've heard that.
my characters did pretty much the same thing because I've been writing since I was about 14 years old. Just horrible knockoff stories, but from television. But and my mother was my biggest fan, God rest her soul. And she said, Stephanie, these are great, but I want to read your stories. So I take my masterpiece back and go back and write something else. And then finally, I settled down to write a story about this one character that just kept occurring to me because she was sitting over in a corner.
Mm.
This character finally came over after years and years of sitting in the corner because I'll write other stuff in the meantime. And she said, I have spent nights in dumpsters in the bedchambers of kings. The
Mm.
dumpsters were better. And I said,
Wow.
oh my God, I've got to write this story. So I just from that, she started really talking to me, and the story Necessary Evil was born. So, and from then on, it's like she and the people in her world of Shadow Bay, Maryland, they sort of introduced themselves, sat down and told me a portion of their story. And each of them, it wasn't just, well, I had coffee today. I had toast for breakfast. It was usually something that involved some sort of high stakes experience where they all had to sort of band together or use their resources to prevent something horrible from happening, or at least
Mm,
stepping in to assist so that the people that were the casualties, those that remained, they would get the help that they needed. So that's where Necessary Evil came from. And then the others followed: Unfinished Business, Nature of the Beast, um, Season of the Blood. And they were all born in this metropolis called Shadow Bay, Maryland. But they traveled the globe and they did so many different things. And there was always something high stakes going on. And
yes.
don't get me wrong, I love a romance. I think they're fantastic. I've written a couple, but it's something about the thriller that just it just sets my heart soaring because there's so much to tell and you have to do it in a short amount of time to get
Right.
to give you that urgency. And I just that's where I've stayed. I've also written horror, which everybody said, but you look like the nice lady down the street. And I'm thinking, yeah, I do. But
Doesn't mean you don't have an imagination.
exactly. And I read somewhere, behind a smile, there's teeth.
Mm,
And I was like, oh yeah, that's me. I look like your average school mom or whatever, but I'm definitely not what you expect. And then when you read my work, you're like, that nice lady? Are you sure? So I thoroughly enjoy that.
so what there is a certain flavor to writing horror. Well, horror, thrillers, either way, there's a certain flavor to it because you can't just sit down and write it. Sometimes you have to really get into the story because you have to describe it in such a way to where your reader is going to see what you see, smell what you smell, feel what you feel. So
Mhm.
how do you get yourself into that mode? And then how do you prepare that description so that because you're not going to be able to stand over every reader's shoulder and explain to them what you meant. You have to really kind of predict what your reader is going to wonder or what your reader is going to think. So how do you do all of that?
Simple. I walk into the scene. I
Mm,
act like I'm the person. Well, I don't act it because I'm literally walking into the scene as I write it. And this is a bit of advice that I give anyone that I work with that's an aspiring writer. Walk into the scene. Let's say you're in an Italian restaurant.
hmm.
When you walk into the scene, what do you smell? Probably smell baking bread, garlic,
Yes.
your spaghetti sauce, all of that. Okay, so you have that. When you look around, what do you see? Use all of your senses. I mean, you may see a little old man drinking cappuccino over at a table, and he looks like he's been there for a while. And he has his rolled up newspaper sitting on the table. You look over, and someone else is kind of nervously fidgeting because they're about to propose to someone. What do you
Right.
see? So I tell all of my students that are writing, walk into the scene. What do you see? What do you smell? What do you experience? You're looking around and our people are angry. Does it look like there's going to be a huge hit that goes on and you're caught in the melee? Because you can walk in and you can experience a vibe and you're like, oh my gosh, I don't think I need to be here. And you
Mm,
try to convey that in your writing. You try to take your students or readers or anyone that's interested in the book, you take them into the scene and you use all of your senses. What are you hearing? Is someone walking around near the tables playing the violin? Are they playing Pavarotti? You know, are they playing, I don't know, Tupac Shakur? It could be any number of things. But you walk into the experience and then you try to convey that in your writing. So that's what I do.
now, see, I'm glad that you described that because a lot of times we'll say things like my my characters introduce themselves to me or I walk into a scene, but a person who may not have a writing background or who may be new to writing doesn't exactly know what that means because they're like, what do you mean the character walked up to you? That's not a real person. How did they do that?
exactly. And then they're sort of giving you the side eye, like, okay, are you nuts? And no, I promise you I'm not. But yeah, my characters, they do that. And I wouldn't say all of them do that. I mean, some of them are definitely something that I've conjured, but there are some characters that really just stick out to me. I was driving home from my job in Virginia, my day job,
Mm-hmm.
and I had this character hop into my seat, my passenger seat,
Oh,
and they started very clearly. And of course, the person wasn't there, but yet I knew exactly what they looked like. I knew exactly, by the time I got back to where I live in Pennsylvania, talk about road trips. Um, the character had pretty much told me their story, and I'm stumbling over my cat to get to my computer because I needed to write this down. And they started with something as simple as, I am not one or the other.
oh,
Names are petty and mine never fit no how. It's enough that I exist. Profound and profane is good enough for me. I am perfect in my otherness. And I'm like, oh my God, so yeah. So my
tell,
characters come to me like that, and I end up
tell
building.
me, tell me you have turned your books into audiobooks and that you're the
Yeah,
one reading them.
not yet, but I'm hoping that will be something that happens because I mean, I've been a teacher all of my life in different iterations, and I was the story lady. So I didn't mind doing the voices. And here I am, umpteen years later, in a few moons and a couple of cows, um, and I still do the voices, but my characters are they're not as pleasant as
Mm.
I don't know. Hey diddle diddle, the cat and the fiddle, the cow jumped over the moon. It's not that, but yeah. But I thoroughly enjoy doing the voices, and I would love to. I would love to.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you writing thrillers and with you making your voice sound like that. I don't know if you saw Mark Bolshajoy's comment that accent. And I think he said it was next level. I just think that would be amazing for
Oh,
you to do an audiobook. I would be all in it. I mean, because I listen to audiobooks more than I read books just because of my schedule. And I do a lot of driving.
mhm.
And sometimes when the book is so good, even when I've gotten where I'm going, I'll sit in the car because I need to finish that chapter. I really feel like if I were to listen to your books on audio, that would be that time where I would not get out of the car because I would need to wait. I would need to wait until I got to the end of that chapter. And if that chapter was good, I might stay for another one.
Well, thank you very much.
Now, that is awesome. So you said you started writing in 2014?
Yes. Well, I've been writing all along since the
Well,
age
yeah,
of
since you
15.
were 13.
Yes. And I really decided around 2014, that's when I was published the first time. But I've been
Okay.
writing all along. And I have a shoebox. Well, actually, I have a couple of shoeboxes with unpublished stories. So I'll reach in, and I'll remember where I was with that story, and I'll refine it and dust off the cobwebs and everything. And then
Hmm.
I have stories that sort of explode in my head, and I'm like, okay, I need to write this now. So yes, I've been writing for a long time, but I didn't get published until 2014.
Okay. So what made you decide to finally take that next step to say, okay, I've been writing for a while, but now it's time to actually move forward with being an author?
My mom,
Mm.
my mom, she'd been very sick for a long time, and she was transitioning, and we'd always been talking about my writing books, potentially going into journalism, things of that nature. And she said, Stephanie, I need you to promise me something. I said, anything, And she said, I want you to write your stories your way with your words.
Oh,
Promise me that. And I've kept my word. Now for a while there I hadn't because I had some, and this will help others along the way. I had a relative kind of discourage me, and I let them discourage me. And you need to get a sensible job. You don't need to be worried about that.
yeah.
And or who do you think you are? Add in the author that you like. you just need to focus on, something sensible. And so I did. And for a long time, I'd forgotten the promise that I made to my mother.
Mm.
And then, but I was still writing stories and tucking them in that shoebox under my bed, like it was a diary or something. And then it occurred to me, it sort of rushed back into the forefront of my mind. You made a promise. And I'm not a person that breaks a promise. And that was one of the last things she asked me to do. So I've been writing and publishing ever since.
Wow.
So if you
That's
notice
beautiful.
in the front of all of my books, you'll see for Dolores Ann Wilkes Freeman, I kept my word. So for anyone that's out there and they're getting discouraged or people are laughing at them saying, hey, you're never going to make it, you need to stick to your day job, don't listen to them.
Amen.
You know
I,
what's in your heart, what's on your
yeah,
heart, write it. Write it your way with your words. Somebody's
that's
out there waiting
beautiful.
for your book.
I'll tell you, thank God for moms, because my mom recognized that I was a writer at a very young age as well. And I don't know that I would have pursued writing the way I did had it not been for her encouragement. She wanted to get me published when she saw me writing as a preteen when I was 12 years old. So I always had that writing bug in me because I had the reading bug in me. But I also didn't move forward with publishing my book until after I had established a career. I was getting close to, in fact, I had already had my daughter. I started writing before I had her, but I actually got published after I had my daughter. But I don't think I would have taken those steps. I would not have pursued writing the way I did. I even majored in English when I was in college. And it was all because my mother encouraged me. And so, and I've said this on this show before, that for parents, if your child has an interest in the creatives, I think we do them an injustice when we tell them to go get a sensible job or that's not going to make you any money, because there are lots of authors who are making great money and you can still have a sensible job and be an author. But encourage your child to pursue whatever that love is, whether it's acting, whether it's writing, whether it's art, whatever it is. If they have an interest in the creative, um, encourage them to pursue that, because you never know what's going to come of it. And that might be the catalyst to get them into college. For my daughter, it was acting. She knew at a very young age she wanted to be an actress, and I fed into that. And every time she had a play, I took her to her plays. Whenever she said, "Mom, I want to go to this acting class" or whatever, I would make sure she went to that acting class. I did whatever I could to encourage her, and that was the catalyst for her to want to go to college. And she graduated from college cum laude at Clark Atlanta University. And
Go,
yes,
mom. Way
very
to go, daughter.
and no, today she's not an actress, but that was the catalyst that moved her in that direction. And she still has a love for the art. She still has a love for theater, but I don't know if she would have still had that love had I not encouraged her. So I always tell people, encourage your kids.
Oh, yeah. It is so important because, when you encourage them, it's like they already believe they have wings. You're just giving them that boost.
Yes, yes.
So, yeah, it's important. And it builds on their self esteem. And there's so many children that, for whatever reason, their self esteem is in the dumper
Mm,
because, life be life, and for lack of better words.
yes.
And they're in school and, they have this gift and they try to share it with someone and then somebody snatches it and breaks it, or they
Mhm.
say whatever they say that's damaging, and then they think, maybe I can't, I won't, and it colors everything they do. So the more encouragement you give a child, even if all they want to do is be a superhero for that phase.
Yes.
Yeah, because not all of us want to leap off of a roof wearing a cape. Ask me about that one. But they learn, and the more we encourage them, it has a ripple effect on everything that they do. So,
Absolutely.
yeah,
I mean, just think about it. Even if you decide to go get a sensible job, do you know how much better you will be at your job if you can write?
exactly, exactly. And me being able to write and then going to school for, because I went to school for English, professional writing and publications design. Um, it definitely it has only done me good as far as me working. So and of course I'm using broken English. Forgive me, but it has given me so much. And had my mother not encouraged me to dream, even if it didn't go anywhere, but just to have someone say, "I believe in you," it's
Yeah,
amazing.
yes. And see, this is why um I started the Black History Month Literary Weekend, because there are students who need to hear what you're saying. And you're gonna see it. We're visiting two different middle schools while we're doing the Black History Month Literary Weekend. So on that Friday, we're going to two different middle schools in Bowie, Maryland, and they can't wait for us to get there. I mean, I actually met them last year, and we were doing our first event, which was a coffee and books event, coffee with the authors, and there were two ladies who just they were there. I think they only went there just to have some coffee, but when they saw the authors come in, they were just laughing and talking and having a good time. And then one of the authors said, "Rhonda, I think you need to talk to these ladies." And I went over and said, "Hi, how are you?" She said, is this your event?" I said, "Yes, it is." "Well, why why are you doing this event in Prince George's County, but you're not visiting any George's County schools?" I said, "Well, a Prince George's County school didn't invite me to come over." She said, "Well, I'm at a Prince George's County school and I'm inviting you to come to my school tomorrow."
Oh, that's wonderful.
So she invited at the last minute. We added this other school to our schedule for that Friday, and we went over there and we just talked to a small group of students. They were so amazing, and we started seeing other teachers poking their heads in the door. Next thing you know, we had a little bit of an audience, and but we really enjoyed talking to the kids, and you would be very surprised how excited they were to talk to authors. And so now this same school invited us back this year, but then they added another school. So that's the reason we're visiting two middle schools. And then after that, we're going over to Barnes and Noble. So we have a huge weekend in store for you. And I think you're going to really, really enjoy it. Mark Bolshajour, I don't know if you've seen some of his comments popping up on the screen, but he actually participated in the event a couple years ago. I think he's participated with me, I think either 2 years or 3 years. But the first time he went to a school, he was excited because he said, "I remember sitting in the audience, and now I'm here on stage." I mean, it was like a whole 180 moment for him. So I think you're really going to enjoy yourself. So just to give you a little bit of a recap of what's going on. The first day is going to be Thursday, February 20th. We're going to have the Books and Wine event. That's going to take place at Urban Grape DC, which is actually a Black owned winery in Washington, DC. That's going to be from 5:30 to 7:30, unless he lets us stay a little bit longer if things are going well. But we actually already have, believe it or not, 100 RSVPs for this event already.
That's wonderful.
Yes, I'm excited. And now the next day, February 21st, I already told you we're going to visit the two schools. But then after we visit the two schools, we're going over to Barnes and Noble, and we're going to do a book chat and sign there. And now what's going to happen there is we're going to do a small writers workshop. We have almost 100 RSVPs for this event. So yeah, I'm excited. But the capacity, I just increased the capacity for both events. And because we're barely into January, and you know how our people do. They RSVP for stuff. We want to make sure they're coming out. But this is also a free event. It's going to take place at Barnes and Noble in Bowie, and it works out well since the two schools are also in Bowie. And so we'll I'm gonna get you up early. It's gonna be some long days, so don't fuss at me, okay? Uh,
Never. If there's coffee involved, I'm there.
so yeah, we're gonna go from one school to the next school, and we're gonna go straight to Barnes and Noble. Don't worry, you'll have a chance to eat. And then, like I said, we'll do the writers' workshop, and then we're going to disperse the authors throughout the store. And then for the rest of the evening, you'll be signing your books throughout the store.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah, so it's a fun event, and I like doing the event this way because it for some of the authors being self-published, this gives them the opportunity to have their books sold in a major bookstore. So that's a really good plus for them. And then the other piece of it is just being able to talk to people. They're able to talk about their author journey and why they do what they do, what they talk about, what they write. And we have such a great, diverse panel of authors. You know, you being a thriller author, we have a fantasy author, we have urban fiction, we have what else do we have? We have self help, we have inspirational. I mean, there are so many different people. So I think that there's really, oh, we have children's authors, of course. So there's really going to be something for everybody. So like I said, I really think you're going to enjoy this, and I'm glad you're coming. I hope you join us next year when we go to New Orleans for our 10th anniversary. Yes, this is our ninth year doing this event. I'm super excited. Oh, and I didn't even tell you
Wow.
about Saturday. So now Saturday is the Ivory and Cream Affair. So, the Ivory and Cream Affair, y'all, I want you guys to get your tickets. Now, anybody who purchases their ticket tonight during the show, you will be able to get it for the early bird fee or the early bird price instead of the regular price. But that's only during the show. So if you want to get your ticket, now is the time to get it. Now, I have a question because see, your your fans, you I think you gave the wrong link, Stephanie, to some people because your fans are in the studio.
Whoa.
I was
Oh,
like,
dear.
where are these people coming from?
Charge it to my head, not to my heart. Oh, my goodness.
It's
Sorry
okay.
about
I
that.
love it. I love it. Yeah. So I see Elena Kai is here. Let's go ahead and just say hi to her real quick.
Hello there. I'm so glad you're here.
Hey! Oh, shoot! Wait.
Oh, I thought you heard me when I said I was gonna
Make sure you look good. Hey, I don't even have my light on or anything like that. But yeah, Pat George A. Walker is here. La Amataya is here. I see them in the backyard. They said, "Oh my
Yes.
God, I love me some Stephanie Freeman." Pat George A. Walker says, "Hello, all." So you got to whatever link she sent us. We've been sitting here like, so yes. Oh my God.
Oh goodness,
Yes.
I love it. I love it. I love it. No, but I thank all of y'all for joining me,
No
joining us.
problem. No problem. I'm gonna go back in the backyard.
Okay, we're gonna see you in a couple of weeks. When you're
Yes.
on the show.
Yes. Okay.
All right. So for those of y'all who don't know, Nalena Kai is going to be one of our featured guest speakers. So I'm super excited about her. I actually interviewed her at the National Black Book Festival back in October, and she had. Oh, was that this year or was that the year before? I think it was the year before, but but she had such a compelling story that I had to invite her back for the Black History Month Literary Weekend. So I'm excited to have you. I'm excited to have Nalena and all of the authors who are going to be participating. So I'm not going to keep you much longer because I know we do have another author. I think she's still here. Yep. We have another author, Pamela Coleman. Yes. Pamela, I hope you're there because your camera's not on. Pamela, are you there? You got to turn your camera on. Yes, yes, books and wine is the vibe. Oh, and we didn't give your website. Thank you, Daniel. So this is your Stephanie's website is on the screen. So if you would like to purchase any of her books, What is your latest book right now?
It's Operation Diamond. It's part of a series with Elena Kai and some phenomenal authors. U.M. Hiram. It's amazing. But my book from that series is Operation Diamond. It's from the Promise Me a Miracle series.
Oh wow.
And boy, howdy, it's some good stuff. And I'm not even talking about my book, although my book is pretty good too. But the other authors, oh my gosh, you got to get the series. It is amazing.
Can
And
we
I'll
get the
drop
book
my
on
link
your
for that.
website?
Yeah, no, you have to purchase it through Amazon, but
Okay.
I can drop that link in there for you as well.
Yes, please. Please
Okay.
do. Okay, so thank you all of Stephanie's fans for joining us tonight. And I hope you will stay because we're about to bring on our next author, Miss Pamela Coleman. Hey, all right, so Stephanie, you have a wonderful evening. God bless you, and I cannot wait to see you in February.
I'm looking forward to it. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. You have a great night. All right, so Miss Pam. Pam is my girl. You're gonna have to unmute. So before we get started talking with Pam, I do want to give a few shout outs. The first thing I want to do is thank all of my Indiegogo backers so far. For those of you who hadn't heard, we started a Indiegogo campaign to raise money to fund the Black History Month Literary Weekend. Some people think all of this just happens. All of this doesn't just happen. And until we get like super huge corporate sponsorship, we do a lot of crowdfunding and community support. So if there's anybody out there who would like to participate, um, we welcome you. But I do want to show you who our they're right here. There we go. These are our backers so far. Helpful Living Magazine. I want to thank Amber Grimes. I want to thank Susanna Marie Harper, Jacqueline Cox, and Diana Parker. I want to thank all of you for your generosity and for just reaching out. And we're not asking for a lot. If you would like to participate, you can donate as little as $10. Now we have a $10,000 level too. Now, if y'all want to do that, I ain't gonna be mad at you. But 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 what I do want you to do is support the cause. If you would like to support the cause, we will be putting the link in the chat. So we want you all to participate. Let me see if I can find that link for you. There's so much going on. But in the meantime, while we're looking for that, I also want to give a shout out to the top 5 authors who who are part of the fourth Culture Book Awards. This is our first year doing this contest. We had 9 amazing authors participate, and right now these are our top 5. You may have seen Mark Bozajor in the comments. He is one of our top 5. We have Malika Stevely, we have Corey Davis, we have Phyllis Dixon, and then Dee Dee. I cannot say your last name, so I'm just gonna say Dee Dee. But congratulations to all 5 of you. These are the 5 who got the top 5, the most social media votes. However, this does not mean that they are going to be the ones to win the contest because we have a panel of judges who are actually reading all of the books and they are scoring the books. So we're going to take those scores and we're going to average them with the social media scores, and that's how we're going to choose the winners. So I can't wait. We'll be announcing the winner on February 1st, but on February 22nd at the Ivory and Cream Affair is where we're going to actually award all of the guests. So if you are a winner, I highly suggest that you guys get a ticket to the Ivory and Cream Affair and come on out to the DC area and be a part of this amazing event. But in the meantime, we're going to talk to one of our featured authors, another one of our featured authors, Miss Pamela Coleman, who is going to be at the Black History Month Literary Weekend. So hello, Miss Pam. How you doing? Wait, I can't hear you. It doesn't look like you're muted, but I can't hear you. Okay, so well, while we're fixing the sound on that, I'm gonna just tell you a little bit about Pam. We're gonna go ahead and put her website on the screen right now, so that way you can take a look at some of her books. But Pam wrote, well, I'm not gonna say she wrote, she curated an amazing anthology. And I think it's special because this anthology was dedicated to men, Black men in particular, who, and it talked a lot about men's mental health. And I just thought it was so special that a woman would recognize the need for men to be able to talk about mental health in a safe space, because men don't always feel safe enough to talk about these things. So I was very excited that she curated this anthology. And I was also excited because my boyfriend, the Cookie Man, Dedrick Brockington, is one of the authors in the book. So we actually had some of the authors on the show a few months ago when the book was first launched. So if hopefully you were there and you saw that show, because it was a very, very powerful show. If you've not seen it, please go to the Meet the World Image Solutions YouTube page, and you can find the link to that show there. The men were very open about how they feel, and so I was honored as a woman to be able to moderate that panel. But I also admired Pamela for just having the foresight to invite these men into a safe space to be able to discuss mental health in a very candid way. So I think she is still having some issues. Hopefully she'll be back soon. I'm not exactly sure what's going on, but you know me, I'm going to come up with a way to fix it because I always do. So, Pam, if you can't get it fixed, I will call you on the phone. Let's see. I'm going to call her on the phone and see if she can fix it that way. 'Cause- There, I'm going to put her on the mutes or on the speakers. Hey, I just put you on let me see. I just put you on speaker since we can't hear you.
And I'm in the back room.
Okay, go ahead and mute your computer.
Okay.
Okay, so we are going to do this in an unconventional way. We're still going to do the interview, guys, but we're going to do it on speaker because Pam's having some issues with I guess the microphone on her computer, but I still want you all to meet her. So I was just telling the audience about your book that you the anthology that you curated for oh, Mark, I forgot you were also a co-author in that book. Okay, yeah, Mark Bolster was also, he's just all over the show tonight, and I am not mad at him at all. But I was just telling the audience about your book, Unspoken, that you curated to discuss men's mental health. Why, as a woman, did you feel it was important to curate such a book?
When I did my first book, Is This Me, Am I Her? I found out that I was a mental abuse survivor. So, like most people, when we find out there's something wrong, or we want the answers to whatever the question may be, we Google.
Yes.
So when I Googled mental illness, mental health, mental abuse, each one I Googled came up with men's mental health. Then I Googled one and it came up with 63% of African American men do not seek help. From there, it just took off.
Why do you think or why do you think, and then what did you read that gave the reason why so many men are not seeking help?
I didn't read it as much as talking to the men around me to see what they said before I actually read it. because I didn't want to read and assume. So I talked to a few of the men, and it was pretty much the same thing. It was the way that they were raised. They were raised not to show weakness. You know, if you cried, you showed weakness. You're supposed to carry everything on your shoulders. You're the head of family, and if you show weakness, then the rest of the family would follow.
Yeah, and men always have to show strength, and even sometimes they don't even feel safe to show vulnerability around the women in their lives.
That's correct. So as I continue with this, because we're on book 2, they have to feel comfortable with the person that they're with or the person that they're talking to. If they are not comfortable, then they're not going to talk. And you can't approach our men with a talking down to them or making them feel less than a man that they are. They need to feel comfortable around you, that what they say to you will stay with you.
Right.
You know, that you're not going to be that person that, you know, I just talked to Dr. Rhonda and she went off and told everybody. They need to know that they're in a safe place with you. And it makes it easier, because I found out also that our men will prefer to talk to someone that looks like them as far as color. If they can find a male of color, then that helps also. I just so happen to be a female of color that, you know, hopefully that they're comfortable talking to.
Well, now what is it about Pamela Coleman that makes these men feel comfortable enough to talk to you? Because on the outset, you're another woman, and probably another Black woman who they probably thought has emasculated them at some point.
I try to draw from what happened to me when I was growing up, to know that nobody should be treated in a disrespectful way.
Yes.
And to have them understand that what you say to me is going to stay with me. And I'm here to help you and not tear you down. There's places for everybody. And, you know, there's places and spaces for everybody. And nobody should be treated like they're less than.
Yes.
Because nobody's less than. We're not the same, but there's room for everybody. And no one, especially our men, should be treated like they're less than.
Amen. Amen. And I'm so glad you say that. And the reason why I harp on that subject is because I hear a lot, especially in talking to Dedrick. When I first met him, one of the things he told me when we first started dating was that he considered me to be his piece because I didn't throw things back into his face, or I didn't beat him down. The world's already beating him down. It's already beating me down. But what do? We go to the people we feel safe beating down, which is often our loved ones and the ones closest to us. And he appreciated that I wasn't doing that to him. So it made it easier for him to talk to me and feel vulnerable, because he knew I wasn't going to shout at him or make him or throw anything in his face or make him feel like less than a man because he confided in me.
Correct. I mean, if they don't have a safe place to go to, then what we're trying to achieve is not going to work. You know, if you have a person that can sit down and talk to you, and then as soon as they, you know, say, this is what's going on, this is how my day was, or this is what happened to me when I was growing up, and then you go, well, you know, the first thing for me, if you suck your teeth, then you already taking what I'm trying to tell you as, you know, less than face value. You just really didn't want to hear what I had to say. So for me, you've got to make sure that they understand that you truly do care about what they're saying.
Yes.
Sometimes they don't have to say anything. If they just need to sit just sit there and say nothing, but know that you're receiving, that there's something going on. You don't always have to say, "What's wrong with you?" Don't do that.
Well, if you say it like that, it doesn't sound like you really want to know what's wrong with them.
And I've seen a lot of ladies approach their person, their husband, their whatever. What's wrong with you? Well, they're not going to talk to you. They're not going to talk to you.
Right.
They're not. You just got to be. Sometimes you just got to be there.
Absolutely. So now I'm sure you're bringing this book with you next month to the Black History Month Literary Weekend.
I sent you the other two, but just this morning when I was downstairs, I was like, I probably should send you the ISBN for that one.
Yes, please, because two of your authors are going to be there with you.
Sometimes you just don't think when I'm trying to get everything to you, when you say, I need this, you're like, okay, gotcha. And I grab the first two, not thinking that.
Okay, well, it's not too late to send me this one.
I'll wobble downstairs and get it for you.
Oh, my girl, don't wobble. Please don't wobble and hurt yourself.
Oh, my vertigo is kicking in so bad today, it's crazy.
Well, I thank you for hanging in there then.
I got you covered.
I love you.
Back at you.
So what are the other books that you're bringing?
I did Vengeance and Notches, the Whodunits. So I did the Whodunits too. I was thinking about our previous guest author.
Yes, Stephanie.
And, yeah. Mm-hmm. I do the same thing. Mine comes to me while I'm driving, but I'm also a Snap fanatic in all crime shows. So I might be watching something, and my 6 series person, Harper St. James, she will mold into what my psychotic mind comes up with. I'm just saying. There's a book. I think it's the last one. She's out having dinner, and she puts not poison, but I forgot what it was, something in the pool water. Mm-hmm. And he said, let's go for a swim. And she's like, no, I'm going to finish eating my dinner. You jump in. It's acid. That's what it was. It's acid. Oh. So he jumps into the pool, and he's just bopping up and down. And she gets up, and she walks away. But the thing is, she thinks he's dying, but somebody pulls him out of the pool, and the book continues. He comes back as somebody different. Plastic surgery and everything. Yeah. I got that side of my little brain that stays on. I've got 5 books like that ready to go.
Oh.
Yeah. They're all kind of psychotic like that.
Well, you know what? Yeah, you definitely need to bring that book with you, because I need to read that. That's scary.
Yeah. So that's the last one of the 6 series. So you don't actually gonna know. You gotta keep following because each book ends with, I didn't think it was gonna end like that, and then it picks up in the next one. So it's a 6-part whodunit, which I put on hold because I got Unspoken Real Talk is coming next. So that's next.
Okay. I love that.
I got Forgiveness, which was supposed to be open to multiples, like the women, the men, or whatever. But it turned out to be all women talking about their ability to forgive or not to forgive and their process. I have one young lady who decided to join that project, talking about how she's unable to forgive her son's killer. So that one I'm not really ready to read, but I'm gonna have to.
Right.
At some point.
Wow. But now, what got you into writing? I mean, because what some people may not realize is that you're not just an author, you're also a publisher. So if we can talk a little bit about that journey. Why did you decide to start writing? And then what made you take the leap to becoming a publisher?
That was an accident. It was all an accident because I'm supposed to be retired in Jamaica. And when my mom died, I wrote her a letter and I put it in a casket about how I felt about how she treated me when I was growing up. But I still was holding on to that. I didn't feel like I had let it go. My doctor's like, oh, you need to go see a psychiatrist. I was like, dude, I work in a school system. I can't afford that. So I started journaling about, actually starting right from the beginning, from age 5 going forward. And a friend of mine, she was reading it and she said, you need to do something with this. I sent it off to a publishing company and they said that they gave me tips on what they wanted to see to finish it before they published it. Mm-hmm. I did everything that they wanted me to do and I never heard back from them.
Wow.
I'm still waiting to hear back from them.
And how many books ago was that?
Oh, many books. Many. So and this is the story I tell every time, and everybody's like, I can't believe. But there's a group that I was in on Facebook called She's something. I can't remember what it was, but it was She S.H.E.
She Publishing?
No, it wasn't She Publishing. It was something else, but it had the same first acronym.
Okay.
So and she wrote books or whatever. So I was telling her about this experience and what happened to me, and I get a reply back saying, "Send me your manuscript. Let me see it." And I'm looking like at the thing, going, "What does she talk about? Why does she want to see this?" It was actually She Publishing that I had clicked on to send the message to the vent about what So I accidentally clicked on.
Oh, so it really was an accident. You thought you were messaging the group and you were actually messaging Shanita.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a blessing.
That's how we met. And as you can see, the rest is history. The rest is history.
That's hilarious. But that's a blessing, though. I mean, that was meant to happen.
I'm not complaining at all about that, how that played out.
Wow.
So the publishing part of it, I was working with Shanita to decide if I really, if that's something I want to do, because there's people like yourself that come to you and say, well, how do I do this? How do I do that? And I was like, do I want to be a publisher? I thought about it. It was starting to get really stressful on me. Mm-hmm. So something else came to me. It's publishing consultant. So if you need help with how, the steps, this, that, and the other, I'll walk you through that. And if you want a publisher, then I have enough in my arsenal that I can recommend to different publishers if they want the conventional way. Right. If they want self-publishing, then they can, I can help them through that. How to, because I've done a few on that one. So that's what I ended up doing.
Okay. Wow. And so since that time, what year did you decide to go ahead and launch your publishing company?
This year.
Wow. Congratulations.
It's everything I do is around my dad. Mm-hmm. So I actually wanted this one done in May, but I couldn't get it done because I got people waiting for help. Mm-hmm. So I put his name on it. So it's James and Coleman, publishing consultant.
Oh, nice.
And I try to have everything released in May and, keep everything to May because his birthday is May 27th. So I just try to keep it all in May.
I like that. Congratulations. I mean, this is another story about how when our parents pour into us, wonderful things happen. So I hope everybody's listening to this. And if you have a child who is interested in the arts, encourage them, pour into it. You never know what's going to happen. And Mark said a little earlier, if we stifle somebody who has a love for the arts, we could be stifling the next Langston Hughes, the next Maya Angelou, the next whomever. We can't just encourage sports and not encourage the other things. So I'm really glad that you had a mother that you made a promise to, and you said, I'm going to do it. And I love the fact that you wrote the letter and you put it in her casket, so you can't take it back.
No, because I actually don't think I would be here if it wasn't for my father. My father and my brother were the ones that kept me safe from my mother. Not to say that she, was a bad person. She just had her own demons that she was dealing with,
right,
that spilled over into me, which, like I tell everybody, I'm still working on that. I mean, it's not something that you can just walk away from and say, "Oh, I'm healed."
right.
That's from 5 to 50, because she died on my 50th birthday. So I dealt with that, up until the day she died. I never understood why my dad stayed, but when I talked to my grandmother, she said it was because you were born. So I thank my brother and my dad, for being there, because who knows where I would be. I don't know where I would be or what shape I would be in if he didn't protect me from that.
Wow.
So yeah, that was the letter that I put into her casket, that everything that I felt about what happened to me from age 5 that I could remember, that's in a book, which probably could be a trilogy because I had that much, but I kept it to one. But when I was in Daytona, I told people that there's still triggers.
Yes.
That you deal with. You don't, and I try to work through them. But we have them, but there's just triggers from that I still deal with.
Wow. So, as you guys can see, Black History Month Literary Weekend 2025 is going to be amazing. And you've only met the first 2 authors. They each have intriguing stories to tell, and they are passionate about what they do. And that's important because we're actually going to speak with our children. And that's not something that I take lightly, because you never know who is going to be encouraged. You don't know who is going through what. And there may be some kids who are going through exactly what you went through. And now you guys are going to be a sense of encouragement and motivation and inspiration for them. So I appreciate you sharing your story with me, and I look forward to you being able to share parts of your story with the kids that we're going to be talking with, and I look forward to seeing you just all over the Black History Month Literary Weekend. I think you're gonna have a good time.
I can't wait. When you were talking about our kids, and I know we're, as you said, up on an hour, but when we were talking about our kids, I work in high school.
Yes, you do.
There are students that I have come in contact with that want to write, or they are making, they're doing their own anime strips, and they're doing that, but don't know what to do with it. So I've sat down and talked to at least 4 different students to tell them that when they're ready, let me know, and I will walk them through steps or give them the information or guide them where they need to be. I told them, don't put that in a shoebox and put it under the bed.
Right.
Because one young lady, she has artwork in, which I thought was pretty cool. One young lady can do the artwork, but she can't write the story. One young lady was writing a story, but she couldn't get the artwork. So I introduced the 2 of them. So I want to see how that's going to come out, because she's got her stories, but she can't get her characters to come from her vision to the paper.
That's awesome.
So, like I said, encouraging, even if they don't want to do it now, if they have the work or the notes and the how-to, hence James and Coleman consultants, if they have the how-to and the tools, then they can be sitting here talking to you.
Come on now. Love it, love it, love it. So, y'all make sure you come out to the Black History Month Literary Weekend. If you were in the DMV area, or maybe you just want to fly here and spend the weekend, because I have a couple of people who are planning on flying in for this. And I'm not talking about the authors, I'm talking about people who are flying in to come to the event. This is, you don't want to miss this. This is going to be beautiful. So, let me go ahead and just give you that recap one more time. First of all, we've been talking a lot about our kids. So, I want you all to know that I am doing an 8th and 9th grade essay contest. The deadline for the contest is February 2nd. So if you have an 8th or a 9th grader in your life, they don't have to be in the DMV. They can be anywhere in the United States. Make sure that they take part in the 8th and 9th grade essay contest. Each winner from each grade will receive $300, as well as a few other prizes. So we want to make sure. In fact, Pam, tell your kids about this too. I know you know some 9th graders.
Oh yeah, I got a whole bunch of.
Yes, yes. Let them know about this as well. So 8th and 9th grade essay contest. If you go to the website, which is right here on the screen, mtwimagesolutions.com/BHM, you will find the application there and you can download it. So also, while you're at that website, you'll also be able to get information about the Books and Wine event that will take place on February 21st. Excuse me, February 20th. On February 21st will be, hit the wrong one. There we go. On February 21st will be the Meet the Authors event at Barnes and Noble. And remember, both of those are free events. And then we have our signature event, the Ivory and Cream Affair, which I really hope that you all will attend. This is going to be an amazing event with guest speakers. We're going to have a live band. The live band is a group called Bringcore Entertainment. If you're in the DMV, you know about Bringcore Entertainment. They bring the show. In fact, they are doing 2 45-minute sets. That's how much of a show that they're going to be doing. This is not background music, people. This is going to be a whole performance. So, and the amount of money that you're going to pay for this ticket, it probably should have been a lot more, but I'm not raising the price on y'all. So we're going to also have our celebrity guest speaker, or excuse me, our celebrity guest host, Christopher Columbus, who is the comedian, and he's also the founder of the Greek Comedy Tour. So he is going to be there, and he's going to be bringing the funny. So y'all just don't want to miss this. This is going to be something amazing. And then I also want you to stay in touch with Meet the World Image Solutions, because we have so much more going on. In August, we're doing the Meet the World Writers Cruise. And yes, you see it correctly. Mr. Omar Tyree will be one of our workshop presenters. He's going to be our keynote. So you want to make sure that you're there for that. So don't miss out on your chance to be a part of this event as well. And if you're in the DMV and you're looking for some fun things to do this weekend, I will be hosting a Greek comedy explosion on Sunday, January 11th. And there's going to be music. There's going to be steppers. There's going to be so much there. And I want you guys to meet me there. In fact, beat me there. Don't just meet me there. Beat me there. I want you all to be a part of the Greek explosion. It's going to be absolutely awesome. So there's a lot going on, as you can see. I appreciate all of you for just continuing to support Meet the World Image Solutions. Thank you for continuing to support the Horizons Author Lounge. This is what we do. We talk to authors every week. We want to be able to give our authors a platform so that they can continue to get exposure for their books, because why become an author if you don't want people to read your book? And so I want people to read people's books. So this is why we do what we do. So Pam, thank you so much for being on the show. Thanks for being flexible. And you'll get to see her beautiful face if you come to the Black History Month Literary Weekend. All right. So, so that's all I have for this week. Make sure you join me tomorrow night for Black Authors Matter TV. We're going to be talking with 4 new authors. And then next week, we're going to be talking with Nalena Kai and Mark Bolshador. You saw them both tonight. and we're gonna meet them next week. So make sure you meet me here next week because this is gonna be one heck of a ride. So once again, thank you all for your support. God bless you. I love you, and you gonna have a fabulous week. And yes, we made it to 2025. Good night.
See ya.